Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing Nami Matcha, otherwise known as Ashley, Your Mom Ashley on YouTube. This is her matcha brand that she just released this July, and if you know her, you know that she loves matcha. She makes it almost every day. She has a lot of YouTube videos of her trying all the different matchas in New York City, and she recently launched her own line. This is her premium ceremonial grade matcha, which is made in Japan. But the packaging is so cute. Her entire thing is butter yellow with this forest green, and those are two of my favorite colors, and it's adorable. Her marketing and just her branding is so cute. Today we are going to be reviewing her premium ceremonial grade matcha powder, and this is a beautiful vibrant green. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually use her chassis that she had made for her company, for Nami, and it's very cute. It's super cute. The chassis itself is branded with her Nami branding on the handle, so we're gonna go ahead and prepare that to use. If you haven't watched my previous video, this is probably going to be super confusing to you, but when you get a new chassis, you can see how the bristles aren't opened and it's more of closed. It looks closed. So you want to go ahead and prepare it by pouring hot water over it so that the bristles have time to open and soften. If you use the chassis in the original way that it came in, it will be very damaging to the whisk itself. But by pouring the hot water, it allows the whisk to open and become more delicate, so it's better for you to whisk with your matcha. So we can start by prepping the matcha while that blooms. Okay. So I'm gonna take about 2 spoonfuls because I like my matcha strong and I really want to taste the flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and sift that. And we're gonna pour our hot, not boiling water. Count to about 3. And then your chassis should now be more bloomed and more opened. Now let's whisk. You're gonna whisk in an M and a W motion, and you're gonna wait till you get that beautiful froth on top and the little micro tiny bubbles start to appear on the top. And when you're whisking, you do not need to be super rough with your motions and be pressing the chassis to the bottom of the bowl, because that is very damaging and you don't need that much strength when using this. Okay, so I'm gonna try the matcha as an americano first, which is just matcha with water. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. So I just filled this up with a little bit of water, and then I'm gonna top it off with some matcha on top. I like to try the matchas without any milk before, just because I know that there are a lot of people who would like to drink matcha just with water as an americano. So I want to give you guys the review of both of it, because I personally drink it with milk only, but I know that matcha tastes different by itself versus with milk. So we're going to try the americano style first. It looks so refreshing. This is on the vegetal side. It's definitely a lot grassier than I would say sweet. There is a slight bitterness and astringency to it, and kind of leaves a little bit of a dry mouthfeel to it. But that's pretty good. I would say that is very refreshing, and it's very light. It's a very light matcha. I wouldn't say that there's too much depth in the flavor. It's kind of just one note of being vegetal and a little bit bitter. So now let's try it with milk in a latte version. And I'm going to make this the Ashley way, which is how she normally makes her matcha lattes, is with oat milk and maple syrup. So I want to try it that way because I know that's the way she normally drinks it. So I feel like it would be best enjoyed that way. Okay, then I'm just gonna add a little bit of oat milk, a little bit of maple syrup to it. Okay, and then top it with the rest of the matcha. And this is it in a latte form. So in terms of taste for the latte version, it definitely loses a lot of the matcha flavor and kind of just becomes like milk almost. Like there is that still astringent, dry mouthfeel that you kind of experience after you take your first sips of it, of the matcha, and it doesn't really disappear with milk and drinking it as a latte. But I do think that the maple syrup and the oat milk together pairs really well with like the vegetal taste profile that I was experiencing in the Americano itself, because the maple syrup kind of makes it a little bit more sweet and a little bit, maybe like a little bit nuttier. Drinking it as a latte helps to cut the vegetal profile a little bit if that's like totally not what you enjoy. I think drinking it with maple syrup and the oat milk helps, and it kind of cuts it and makes it a little bit more subtle. Yeah, this isn't really like a rich matcha. It's very much on the side of being a light and refreshing one. Like drinking it as an Americano is probably the best way that you'll get to experience the taste of the actual matcha. If you drink it as a latte, the taste kind of just disappears, or you would have to use a lot more of the matcha powder to get more flavor in the latte form, if that's the way that you drink it. But it's very refreshing and light in the Americano. So my final thoughts of Nami Matcha, I think that it's a really good beginner matcha powder, and I say this because it's super light, and again, the notes aren't super complex. Like you really only get like that vegetal notes and then like some bitterness in the matcha, but there isn't really like any floral notes. There isn't, you know, super deep umami flavor. So I think this would be a really good matcha for you guys who are just beginning to like matcha, because the color is gorgeous and it is good quality. It's just very light. Like somebody who is more advanced in their matcha journey wouldn't, I feel like maybe they wouldn't appreciate this matcha as much because it is very simple. It's a very simple and light matcha. And if you are a latte drinker, it won't be super deep and complex in the flavor that you usually experience with other like matcha powders. So I say that I would recommend this for people who, you know, don't mind like a vegetal profile with like some bitterness, and people who do enjoy a lighter matcha. Maybe like the matcha isn't super strong, you would enjoy this matcha. So I am going to be ranking these in terms of richness, bitterness, color, sweetness, and umami. So starting off with richness, I'm going to give this a 1 out of 5. And that is because, like I was talking about before, it's a very light matcha. Like this is not a rich matcha where you can taste like the matcha coming through a lot, and it's not a very deep like matcha flavor. It is super light. And for bitterness, I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5, and you can taste the bitterness on your tongue. Like it has that aftertaste where the matcha kind of like sits on your tongue a little bit, and you can kind of tell that like remaining astringency is sitting there. Color, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 because it really is such a good color. It's super vibrant and super green. It's not like a deep green, but it is a gorgeous vibrant green, and your matcha powders should definitely look like that. Sweetness, I give it a 0 out of 5. This is not a sweet matcha. There are no sweet notes at all. It's very vegetal and very grassy, or it's more vegetal and more grassy, so you will not experience any sweetness in this if you tend to look for that. Umami, I gave this a 1 out of 5. It's not super deep in the umami flavor, but there is a little bit of it there. Again, it's not a super rich and deep matcha complex of notes, so the umami is barely there. Alright, and that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys get to try Nami Matcha. I think she is completely sold out by now, but I know that there might be a restock coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that if you would like to try it. And let me know if you guys have bought it and you guys have tried it. Let me know if you experienced the same thing as I do, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Let me know. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Gotta drink these.